What is up, everybody? What is up? Oh my god, what a song. I freaking love this song, man. Reaction stream? Alright. We got Persona 3 and reaction for one but a piece. We could do a reaction stream today, not gonna lie. We should definitely do that. I'm filming today. So if reaction wins this time, I'm actually gonna be filming for that. Like, yesterday I was just like, I don't know if I want to, like, use my brain cells too much with trying to, like, dissect something and make sure I get every single detail. It's like something like Persona 3, it's a little more mindless fun to me, even though I have to, like, look some stuff about, like, the weaknesses and shit about, like, other mobs and shit, but it's whatever. Reaction. Okay, we're gonna do reaction today. Alright, so today, let's see, CBR, I think, would be a good start today. But yeah, let's, the 7 Hokages ranked by power. Okay, we can look at this. Alright, so we're gonna be looking at the video we're gonna be looking at today is gonna be this one. So, the 7 Hokages ranked by power. Let's take a look at this.
Pure world reincarnation. We at CBR have done the impossible. By borrowing a few of Kabuto's notes and making some slight improvements, we have brought back to life all of the previous Hokage, as well as grabbed Kakashi, Tsunade, and Naruto from their village duties. Why? Because in today's video, the 7 Hokage will duke it out in an all-out brawl.
Okay, but what are the rules? Are we talking about them, like, at their current peak? Or are we talking about their current power level? Or are we talking about them at, like... Are we talking about them at, like, their absolute peak? Because my own, like, opinion here is that, like, again, last time, they just did not make a lot of logic clear in when they're ranking the Hokages based on power. Because we're, like, bringing up KCM Minato with, like, his feats. I think it's a little bit more than fair to bring up Kakashi's, to bring up, DMS Kakashi, who I would argue is a lot more powerful than a lot of these other characters. And, like, because Minato physically wasn't a Hokage at that point in time, and he didn't have that while he was alive. Like, the thing is that the inconsistencies in logic were just, like, a little bit off to me. I feel like if people are, like, ranking, like, off of, like, what's strong based off of, like, peak, DMS Kakashi should literally be, like, number 2 right behind Naruto.
To prove who is the strongest Hokage of them all. Who will come out on top? Will it be the Hokage who's sky high in debt, or the copy ninja of the Hidden Leaf? Let's find out. That's it! First to be knocked out of our Hokage Battle Royale is Kakashi Hatake.
Alright, let's look at their logic here. So, the moment that I hear someone bring up KCM, I hear these people bring up KCM Minato, this will completely invalidate this section, completely. But here's the thing I always say. Kakashi at his current level in Boruto, for being fair here, and like the ability to spam Conway would beat Tsunade. And I feel like even in Boruto, he definitely still beats Tsunade, so I just don't fully agree with this, considering, like, not only does Kakashi did lose his Sharingan, but he made Purple Lightning a thing, and at the same time, he's also bullshitting the light novels as well. And also, to add on to that as well, to add on top of that, I also literally would also argue, if, like, without the stamina constraints of the Sharingan, even though it's a good tool for him, there were massive stamina constraints, Kakashi doesn't have to worry about chakra as much as he used to, so I honestly feel like there is an advantage, an argument to, like, make about Kakashi currently being Tsunade. But then the next question then becomes, like, okay, if we're also talking being fair here, are we gonna use the strongest version of Kakashi versus, like, everyone else?
Okay. Now don't get me wrong, when it comes to Shinobi, Kakashi is one of the strongest of the strong. That doesn't mean that he's the strongest Hokage, though, but we can give credit where credit is due. The man is feared all throughout the land, and his resume shows why. At a young 10 years old, Kakashi was already a Jonin, the highest rank of ninja next to Hokage, and became captain of the Anbu Black Ops at 13. Why? It's because Kakashi can essentially use any jutsu known amongst Shinobi. Infamously known as the copy ninja due to his Sharingan, Kakashi has successfully copied over 1,000 jutsu at speed just as fast or faster than his opponents. And
they're not wrong, but, like, with some of the information they're presenting so far, but, like, again, it's just, like, I'm just trying to figure out, are they going to include Kakashi in his absolute prime, or at their powers when they were Kage? Because if we're going to be very real about KCM Minato, he did not have that while he was Kage, he had that while he was an Edo Tensei. And there was something that was sealed inside of him. Bruh, Hokage Kakashi absolutely smacks Hokage Tsunade into oblivion. He still has 1,000+ jutsus and can do handstands at insane speeds. Yeah, number 7 is just, like, is a little bit too low. I think Tsunade, and I'm not trying to be mean here because she has a lot of great feats against Madara and such, but I feel like Kakashi just has, like, an advantage over over Tsunade to me.
Release. As a whole, his jutsu catalog ranges between all 5 basic elemental releases, and he created one of the most infamous jutsu known among shinobi. What's the fastest way to a girl's heart? Chidori. But let's talk more about the Sharingan for a moment. Sharing 0 ties to the Uchiha, Kakashi shouldn't have been able to do as much as he did. However, he made the dojutsu his own despite the limited amount of—
Okay, so you're talking about all of this and adding the Sharingan, but you're not talking about DMS, but you're not bringing up DMS Kakashi, who, like, washes so many people on this list besides freaking Naruto.
And in both—
Okay, there we go.
Losing his Sharingan post to the 4th Shinobi World War is a big reason towards Kakashi's early exit, despite—
Again, though, like, I feel like that despite Kakashi not having the Sharingan, he'd still beat Tsunade. I don't think he'd beat Hiruzen. I don't think he'd beat Tobirama. I don't think he'd beat Hashirama or I'm sorry, Minato, Hashirama, and freaking Naruto. But
that Kakashi will always be one of the greats whose devotion to teamwork, selflessness, and care for others allowed him to become the 6th Hokage and one of my personal favorites.
Again, once they bring up Casey and Minato, their logic is going to be, like, contradicted. Because, again, if we're talking about them while they're Kage, Minato did not have KCM while he was alive, and really was only able to get stronger while he was dead, while he was no longer the official Hokage.
As the granddaughter of the
As Hokage, Naruto won 2 Hashirama, 3 Minato, 4 Toyirama, 5 Hiruzen, 6 Kakashi, 7 Tsunade. Toyirama versus Hiruzen's a bit of an interesting debate. I think KCM Minato is stronger than both Hashirama and Hiruzen. So, but he's below DMS Kakashi and he's also below Naruto. So, my personal order, if we're ranking these Kage, like, not while Kage, but in their absolute peak, 1, Naruto, which would probably be while, and arguably I put him in, like, the final valley, which because of the truth-seeking orbs, but also you could also argue Boruto. I don't think, it's a bit interesting debate I feel like people could have. 2 would be DMS Kakashi, 3 is definitely Casey and Minato, 4 it's between Hashirama and Hiruzen. I would personally give the edge to Hashirama, but it's a bit or Hiruzen. It's a bit of a tough debate. 4 and 5 I feel like are interchangeable, though. Hashirama and Hiruzen are pretty interchangeable for me. And then, like, 6 and 7 has to go to Toyirama and then Tsunade. I don't like putting Tsunade that low, but I feel like she is the weakest Kage out of the bunch. In absolute peak, we haven't seen Hiruzen at his peak completely, so I don't think that's completely fair. But I also would say that, like, him being called the God of Shinobi when Hashirama was a thing, it definitely kind of speaks to his power, in my opinion. And also him being, like, one of the few Shinobi that can utilize, like, all 5 nature transformations is just, like, completely ridiculous to me, and he's freaking absurd. And also being one of the few characters that's also been shown to use the Reaper Death Seal. Although, depending on when he got that, it is a bit of a different question. I feel like, it's a bit of an interesting debate. I feel like, in between, I always will say that, like, if we're just looking at scaling feats and whatever, Toyirama's a bit hard for me to, like, rank to me because, like, I don't think that Toyirama's weak at all. I just don't know how to, like, rank him in the face of, like, 5 of Kage, like Hiruzen, Hashirama. It's just hard to rank him below in, like, in places with, like, freaking, in a village with, like, freaking Minato, Hiruzen, Hashirama, Naruto, freaking Kakashi with DMS, or even or his purple lightning even. Like, it's absolute, like, the Leaf Village, let's be very real, has so many bullshit Kages, man. It's just ridiculous. Like, how do you go on a run where you have, like, 6 of probably the top 10 Shinobi of all time? At least in my opinion. It's like, you got Madara, Sasuke there, but, like, how do you go on a run where you could argue that you have, like, 6 of the top 10 Shinobi of all time? I mean, it's probably not that way, but you could actually argue that to me, you know? Or, you know, or if we're even, like, saying the bare minimum, 6 of the strongest Shinobi of all time in their top 15! Like, you make up, like, nearly half the list! You make up nearly half the list! It's like the freaking NBA where you have, like, the Lakers and the Celtics literally dominate the entire finals matches, except guess what? There's one fucking team that dominates the list! Or if you're like freaking Tom Brady, you have like 7 of Super Bowls on you, and you dominate the entire NFL for like how long? It's ridiculous!
Hailed as one of the legendary Sannin, Tsunade's accomplishments range wide, many regarding her as the reason why the Leaf was able to win the Second Shinobi World War. However, if you were to ask her, the one she would be the most proud of is her advancements in medical nin. We should note that Tsunade
and she still should not be above Kakashi.
Is the reason that...
In fact, if we're just like talking to them at like their Kage peaks or whatever, I would definitely still give the advantage to Kakashi by the time we especially get to like with like lighting, purple lighting and shit.
Lee was ever able to grace the stage as a ninja again, healed the psychological damage of the Tsukuyomi, and was...
Well... partially, but Sasuke was still traumatized.
Even thought to be able to heal Orochimaru's arms, which were sealed away by the Reaper Death Seal. But this video isn't about accomplishments, though. It's about strength, and Tsunade has plenty of it due to the strength of 100 seal.
Congratulations! She still should not be above Kakashi.
This technique allows the Lady Senju to store chakra into the seal on her forehead, which can be released at any time, multiplying her chakra 100 times over, adding to her already...
In my opinion, Hokage Naruto is way above Fountain Valley Naruto and is closer to Kaguya. I agree with that in terms of raw power. It's just, like, very hard for me to make that debate, because I was, like, talking about this with someone, and it's, like, the other thing that you have to, like, remember is that, Final Valley Naruto had access to the True Seeking Orbs, which are just, like, completely broken in of itself. And losing that hack is a little bit, like, not great, in my opinion, but I also will say that, I don't know how much of a complete impact that makes, considering, like, I feel like Hokage Naruto has a lot more raw power, but I feel like Final Valley Naruto has a lot more hacks and has some more hacks going for him. But I feel like it's, so I think it's a little bit interchangeable when you're talking about that.
Insane strength. Alone, she's been able to split the ground with a finger and make Jiraiya take a trip to the ER with several broken ribs, arms, and ruptured organs. With the seal, she's able to break through the Susanoo. Did we mention she's also essentially immortal? Her ultimate technique is the ninja art creation rebirth, strength of 100 technique, which...
They didn't have them in the Final Valley from Kage's fight from the Sage took back the sealing powers. No, they did not. Otherwise, Sasuke would have literally would not have his Rinnegan. Like, Naruto, like, Sasuke still awakened his Rinnegan and still has his powers. And Naruto didn't just lose his freaking Stage 6 pass mode at all. That did not happen. That did not happen. They still have the abilities of the Sasuke still has a Rinnegan and Naruto still has Stage 6 pass mode. But I don't think it matters, though, because, like, I feel like arguably you could say Boruto Naruto is even stronger, and I don't think...
Which essentially allows her to auto...
Yeah, he could. Yeah, it's like, and he didn't take him back, especially, like, y'all are crazy.
Honestly, heal any injury without hand sign or effort, as long as she has chakra. With that, Tsunade should have this tournament in the bag. Well, that would be the case if her sensei didn't have something to say about it.
Professor. I'm gonna be very real right now. It is, like... I feel this is the one list that actually gives some respect to Tobirama, to be honest. I'm actually happy about that, because this is like the one list that I feel like gives some respect to Tobirama, but it's like, it's very hard for me to like debate as to like whether or not Tobirama is actually stronger than Hiruzen. I think, let's see,
Hailing as the...
I don't know why Naruto didn't fight Kobe with Stage 6 Pass Mode and Board, so it's a form stronger than KCM Stage Mode. That's a decent... The thing is, like... The thing that's always been in debate that when I've talked to people said, like, Naruto hasn't lost Stage 6 Pass Mode, but he's lost the ability... But he's lost his True Seeking Orbs. Because I guess it was just, like, in some limited capacity. There was, like, a BXZ video that actually talked about this. I could actually show you all that sometime. To kind of, like, more explain this in depth, because, like, I don't really have that ability to do so as well as, BXZ did. But, I could show you guys a video about that. But like, let's get off of Naruto's orbs and shit. I mean, Hinata likes his orbs, but, like, let's get off his orbs for a second. And just, like, and let's talk about, let's talk about where we're putting these guys. This is, like, the one list that actually puts some respect on Tobirama's name, and yet I don't fully think it's, like, correct. I think Tobirama is, like, very, very strong, but
Hiruzen Sarutobi is renowned as the professor,
but there are a lot of databook statements that kind of show that Hiruzen was just a menace of his own right.
And shares the nickname God of all Shinobi with Hashirama Senju.
So why is he below Toirama?
Said that at his prime, Lord Third was stronger than any Hokage who came before, including Hashirama, which says a lot. However, this strength was never seen in the anime, and at the time of his revival, Hiruzen is hovering around 60 to 70 years old, giving reason to why he's next to take a seat on the sideline. Or at least in a deadlock battle with the next entry. Doesn't do him justice, though. We have to remember that when Orochimaru attacked the Hidden Leaf during the Chunin exams, not only did the third Hokage take him on and seal his arms, but he also took on and sealed away a reanimated Hashirama and Tobirama alone. The nickname the Professor personifies him.
And this was, by the way, when he was out of his prime and with like an imperfect out of his prime. It was a bit of an imperfect Edo Tensei compared to like what we see of it nowadays, but this is still ridiculous.
His master.
I honestly believe, though, I feel like this is not correct. I like that they're giving respect to Toei-Rama, but I don't think this is correct at all. I'm gonna say that, like, Hiruzen should be ranked number 4 free at most. At most, he should be ranked number... Because I always, like, interchange Hashirama and Hiruzen, but I feel like Toei-Rama needs to be dropped down to 5. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Toei-Rama at all. He's he's not weak at all in comparison to like what people think of him as, because of like his negative feat, quote unquote, against Kenku and Gingaku. But it's just like, I don't think that he should be above Hiruzen is my thing.
Like Orochimaru, if Hiruzen wanted to, he could learn every jutsu known to man. The late Sarutobi's intellect allows him to deduce the mechanics behind a technique by simply seeing the required hand signs. Even with something he's never seen before, such as the truth-seeking balls, he could understand everything about them from just a glance. As a master of all 5 elemental releases as well, Hiruzen Sarutobi is a force that would be difficult for any shinobi to defeat, and if he was in his prime, it is no question that he may be able to win this whole thing. Sadly, that is not the case, but up against our next entry, things could go either way.
There hasn't been like any direct statements that Naruto or Sasuke lost that shit. They didn't. There hasn't been any direct statements talking about that at all. I honestly feel like that the major problem, I think, is like, I think that, like, I feel like, a BXZ video would actually be a better way to, like, describe this, but I'm not really in the mood to talk about, like, the intricacies of Naruto having CS6 pass mode or not. It's just, I'm just not interested in that at all today. I'm, like, not interested.
As we mentioned before, Hiruzen Sarutobi was said to be stronger than the first and second Hokage in his prime. Given his old age, the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, now might have a slight edge.
What?
Before, Hiruzen Sarutobi was said to be stronger than the first and second Hokage in his prime.
And if we're like talking about that shit, then like why the hell is like Hiruzen like below freaking Tobirama? Like, are we really talking about him like because he was Hokage before? You know that, right? So if we're like basing off of that logic, he should at least be above Toirama. Now I feel like that it's very debatable. For me, it's debatable as to like whether. For me, Hiruzen and Hashirama are very interchangeable, but, like, there's just no way that you can just, like, say that and just put Hiruzen below Toirama when he was a Kage when he was still a Kage before in his prime.
In his old age, the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, now might have a slight edge. When we speak of jutsu, a lot of credit has to go to Tobirama because it's likely that he's the one who created it. Some of our favorite techniques, such as multi-shadow clone jutsu, impure world reincarnation, and
I don't know if impure world reincarnation is one of our favorite. Is like one of our favorite. Well, actually, I like impure world reincarnation a lot, but the one thing is just like about that technique though is just like it is just a very unholy technique. It is so cool.
Flying Thunder God, which Minato made
I don't know.
Popular, all stem from his mind. Like his predecessor, Tobirama is a master of all 5 elemental releases, specializing in water release, and could use water-style jutsu regardless if water was nearby. Also, if you caught this man in his...
I mean, like, my thing with, like, impure world reincarnations, I just don't think... I just have, like, certain things about, like, messing with the dead and shit, but at the same time, it's such a great jutsu, you know?
Was the first to develop the space-time jutsu Flying Thunder God, which allowed him to blitz all and any opponent at what seems to be the speed of light. His specific technique, the Flying Thunder God Slash, allowed Lord Second to slash down any opponents in front of him and acted as the to the Sharingan's of...
Again, though, why is he above freaking Hiruzen? If they bring up KCM Minato, again, I'm going to literally just put in fucking DMS Kakashi and this list gets completely invalidated.
Even begin in discussing the prodigy known as Minato Namikaze, aka the 4th Hokage. Known as the Yellow Flash of the Hidden Leaf due to his mastery of the space-time jutsu Flying Thunder God, Minato was a man feared across all villages. I mean, who wouldn't be afraid of a guy who can instantly teleport behind enemy lines and single-handedly take down over 1,000 men? Also, we have to acknowledge that it was this speed and seemingly this speed alone that made him so great, only being a master of 3 elemental releases. Minato rarely formed hand signs and specialized in hand-to-hand combat. Carrying with him a multitude of specialized triple-pronged kunai, which was marked with a seal for teleportation, the 4th Hokage easily moved across the battlefield, going wherever he threw the kunai or laid out in advance. Now what's really cool about Minato was his ability to take what the second Hokage developed and take it even further.
Yep, but he still shouldn't be below Hashirama. If we're talking KCM.
An example of this is the technique Flying Thunder God Guiding Thunder, which was a barrier jutsu capable of warping away anything that came in contact with it, including a tailed beast ball. Now, speaking of the tailed beast, it was Minato who had the strength to seal half of the 9 tails within himself, and even after the fact, sealed the other half within Naruto. Overall, Minato's power is insane, and we're just barely scratching the surface. He's one of the few who's fully earned the respect of the Toad Boss Gamabunta, can enter Sage Mode, 9 Tails Chakra Mode, and is the creator.
And that's it! So we're putting DMS Kakashi all the way up here at number 2. Congratulations! Again, how is it, like, fair to, like, put a Kage, to, like, not put in DMS Kakashi, and not even mention him and shit, and be like, oh, we can't put him up there because he wasn't a Kage at that point, or and that we're only using when people were Kage. But then use, like, freaking Casey and Minato, who was dead! Dead! And not a Hokage! He was a former Hokage! He wasn't Hokage! He didn't have that as a Hokage! Why are we using KCM mode? Oh, boy. And then Hashirama should not be, first off, alright, real list. Number 1, Naruto. Number 2, freaking, DMS Kakashi. Number 3, KCM Minato. Number 4, Hashirama. Number 5, Number 4 or 5, Hashirama Hiruzen. Number 6, Tobirama. Number 7, Tsunade. It's just how it is. I don't make the rules. That's it. There you go. I fixed your list for you, CBR. I just fixed it for you. Should not be above freaking Casey and Minato. What in the fuck are we doing? What in the fuck are we doing? Yeah, this video was garbage. Alright. Oh no.